hopefully they work each other about this. You saying earlier about responsible consumption. Can you elaborate and expand this?
Yeah. Look, responsible consumption involves consumers who think about what they're buying before they buy it. Being a responsible consumer requires you to be financially responsible, so avoiding waste not just in the product but also taking care of your own finances. Again, a lot of families are spending a lot. They're not being responsible consumers. Responsible consumption also means that we have to think about others, we have to think about the environment, we have to think about animals, we have to think about beings outside of our own family unit. So it really involves us thinking beyond ourselves, beyond our own desires, selfish desires, in fact. So it really requires a lot of reflection, a lot of slowing down, thinking about what you're doing before you do it, and not be so impulsive in our buying. That's definitely not responsible.
When you say impulsive, is that can be relate to cultural as well? Cultural um because some we know Australia is multicultural country. Is that can also because of the culture? Because some culture they if they say sales, oh I can buy that now before anything can get it. Is that gonna be also effect of the consumption?
Yes, definitely culture. When we speak of national culture, it's definitely, a big factor. A lot of countries and people who come from different countries have an impulsive behavior around buying. And again, sometimes you see it as well in consumer culture. So you see it with people who are newly rich. They now, at that point when they just found money, they immediately buy a lot, thinking that they're keeping up with the Jonases. But then again, that creates negative behaviors of excessiveness, materiality, all these things. And it's never good for the environment, it's never good for the pocket. And again, part of when we talk about consumer culture, it revolves around events like Christmas, like Boxing Day, like um, Black Friday. It becomes part of culture that when you hear Black Friday sales, immediately you go to the shops. And that could be irrespective now of any national culture, especially if you're living in a country like Australia or the United States, where this has become so embedded in culture, in that multicultural culture, that immediately Black Friday, oh, I better go to the shops from the morning before the stores open. And then suddenly, you see images on the internet where people just flood the gates, basically. It's become so embedded. And that's what I'm trying to say, is that changing a behavior is not easy and it takes time. But to start, you have to start somewhere, right? And it's important that we start thinking about this excessive nature of human beings right now, and this kind of culture that it's all about buying, 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 throwing, 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 buying new, and there is no circularity of our consumption anymore. So yes, it is national culture, but it's also consumer culture.